Hi, I'm Dr. Rollan Roberts, and welcome to this week's Google Hangout on how to lead a volunteer army. So let me get this straight. You want someone to work themselves to death. You want them to perform with excellence. You want them to show up on time every time, and you don't want to pay them, and you can't fire them. So when they do the job and it's not even to your satisfaction, you can't write them up, you can't rebuke them, you can't fire them, and you can't withhold a paycheck. So how do you lead? No wonder it's so hard to lead a volunteer army. And that's why most managers aren't effective at it. But here's what I have found about leadership. If you can effectively lead a volunteer army, leading a paid army is significantly easier. So what I want to do in this segment is share with you 5 elements to successfully leading volunteers. Now, I know a little bit about what I'm talking about in this for several reasons. Number one, I grew up in a pastor's home, and people, pastors of churches or things like that, everything they do, the majority of what they do through volunteers. And so, I mean, and in some cases, it's down to mowing the lawn, and there's a schedule every single week, and it's got to get done. And you got to rely on people bringing their mowers or using the church's facilities, and so you've got to rely on people doing that. And there's all kinds of different issues there. Nursery schedules every single week, sometimes 2 or 3 times a week, depending on how many services someone has. And then different type programs that a church might have. All of those are staffed with different volunteers. So how do you ever put something together? Now, not only did I grow up in a volunteer leadership environment, but I've had my fair share of leading volunteers, both in nonprofits, but most recently, obviously, well, outside of some nonprofits that I'm currently involved with, was my run for the state senate. Now, when you run for public office, especially on that level, you can't do it alone. It's not a matter of putting your name on a ballot and hoping for the best. It's a matter of, yes, you're working, 18, 20 hours a day, 7 days a week for months on end, but more than that, it is a matter of who supports you, how many people support you, and from a variety of demographics and a variety of backgrounds. And so when it came to waving signs or going door to door and knocking doors and asking people to vote for me, how many volunteers would do that? That would believe in a candidate enough to do that. Second step, though, or thought there is, how many people would do that in the rain? Or how many people would do that when it's snowing outside and freezing cold? Okay, that's what I campaigned in 70% of the time. And so we have volunteers, and I still have pictures of these volunteers that were standing out, sleeting, hailing, snowing, bundled up, older women even, in fact. And I was like, please, go get in the car, get warm, go home. We're going to cancel. We're not going to do it. And they're like, oh, no, we have to do it. We have to get you in there. People, how do you elicit? And the 5 things I'm going to give you today will help you lead a volunteer army with that much passion and dedication, because let me help you understand something. If you effectively lead a volunteer army, they will outperform a paid army every time. But you don't have a paycheck to hold over them. You can't fire them. But yet you're going to get better results than you ever could have gotten in any other scenario. So that's what I want to share with you today, the 5 different steps, all right? Number 1, the first thing that you need to know to successfully lead a volunteer army is you need to have vision. You need to have vision. People volunteer because they believe in the mission. They believe in the vision of the organization, the institution, or the person. So you have to, it's not not just to have. It creates excitement when you do that. It creates excitement. So share the vision, communicate it often, and that's what generates a lot of the excitement. One of the things, that leads me to step 2, or the second element to successfully lead a volunteer army, is to communicate. Most organizations have a vision, right? Every single nonprofit has a vision for why they are a nonprofit and whatever their mission is. Churches, religions, all politically, all avenues and aspects of the nonprofit world, even coaching, even sports, coaching of non-paid athletes, high school and below, these elements strongly apply. The vision may be a championship. And so number 1 is fairly common and standard, have a vision. That's what brings them to the table. What gets them extremely passionate, though? Yes, the vision and sharing that often. But the second thing is communication. Now, sometimes I don't even understand how powerful this is, but let me tell you, I watched it during our 90-day race, the run. I watched this happen, where we would communicate, the campaign would communicate during the week. We would share ads that we were running. We would share direct mail pieces that might have gone out. We would share newspaper articles or news stories that were done. And we would share these things. And then we would tell them what we're going to be doing on Saturday, and then we can't wait to meet, and it's at this time again. We couldn't do it without you. And so it was full of gratitude. But we communicated with them often. Now, the ironic thing is the same, obviously a core group of people did show up every week. But there was also like at least 50% of the people each week to knock doors and hold signs and wave and things. At least 50% was a different group every single week. And so out of let's say a 12-week span, the same person might have come 2 or 3 times. So you didn't know who all was going to be there or actually show up. We try to get a good count, but you didn't really know until the day, until it was time, not even the day of. So really, communication is what drove that other 50%. If we did not continue to communicate throughout the week and to keep them engaged in what we were doing, outside and above and beyond the mission, if we had not have done that, then it is highly likely that we would have been very ineffective at leading volunteers, because we would not have had over half the people show up each week that did. Because the only reason why they did was because it was top of mind. They felt the momentum growing just from our communication. And those are the elements that help inspire volunteers. They just want to be a part of something. They want to be a part of something they believe in. And they want to be a part of something that's bigger than themselves. And you and your organization can provide that for people if you just communicate in the right way about what's happening, the impact you're making, the difference they make on the cause and on the vision. Element number 3, patience. Patience. When it comes to leading volunteers, you have to be patient. And that's extremely frustrating. Anybody who knows me knows I'm patiently impatient. I want things to get done now, and then I also recognize the things that only come with patience, but I'm still going to patiently be impatient, because I'm going to keep trying to find other ways to move the ball or move the needle and to accomplish the goal. So those are the elements. That's the third element, is patience. You got to have patience. You can't be a jerk to volunteers and expect to get anywhere. It just won't work. You can't beat them over the head. You can't make them feel bad. You can't guilt them. Those are temporary tactics. So if you're looking to run an organization for a year, 2 years, 3 years, yeah, that'll work. But if you're, and that might be, by the way, why you haven't been at a place longer than 3 to 5 years. But if you actually lead, then this element of patience will pay off. Even in my situation where I only had 90 days, it's like, how much patience can you have? you can still exercise patience. You can still exercise patience. And so there's plenty of ways to do that without being a jerk. It's like my mentor first said, when you're a hammer, everything looks like a nail. And he said, I still want you to drive and be aggressive. He said, we're just going to put some velvet over that hammerhead, and I want you to stop seeing people as nails. You keep driving, but not on people. And so that's element number 3 to successfully lead a volunteer army. Number 4, organization. Organization is an essential element to succeeding at leading a volunteer army. Why? Because people, even though they are unorganized, they only want to be a part of something that is organized. And once again, you can say it's not fair, it doesn't make any sense, but it's true. It's what is. They would not have shown up on Saturdays if we weren't so organized throughout the week, and if when they got there, it wasn't boom, 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 boom. It wasn't we're sitting around having coffee. It was we have a very specific agenda, and it wasn't even go find some doors to knock. It was this street, these 50 doors, these 300 doors. This is how much time you have. Here's what we need you to do. Here's what you leave at the door. And you didn't even have to guess what to say, what to do. We took all of those elements out. That level of organization is an essential ingredient in leading a volunteer army. And that's one of the reasons why religions and churches are so successful at leading a volunteer army. It's because they're so well organized. The people who volunteer for certain positions, it's almost like they almost have job descriptions. They're that organized. Is your nonprofit, is your organization, is the coaching staff, is the team that you're coaching, is it that fine-tuned, and is it that well organized that you get the amount of the level of excellence you expect because you deserve it. You've earned it through your organization. And then, number 5, the 5th reason why, a 5th element to leading a volunteer army is to be thankful. It's to be thankful. You have to over-express your gratitude. And you need to do it over the little things. They're little things to you, but they're big things to other people. It was so funny. I campaigned 18 to 20 hours a day for 90 straight days. I would have someone come out and hold a sign for about an hour, and probably not even do a very good job at that. But they would do it for about an hour, and for the rest of the campaign, you would have thought they were my biggest donors, that they contributed enormous amounts of time, and they showed up once, and they didn't even do the hard work. And that was just a reiteration of a lesson that I had previously learned, to over-express gratitude, because in their minds, it's the biggest thing ever. Over-express your gratitude and your thankfulness. It's so important to constantly thank volunteers. You think they're committed. And here's the interesting thing. They think they're committed. And the moment you stop appreciating them is the moment they wake up and realize that they are in the wrong boat. They may believe in the cause, they may believe in the vision, but they are in the wrong boat to accomplish it. They're going to go where they are celebrated, where their efforts, their involvement, their time, their participation, their dollars are appreciated beyond the casual thank you. They want heartfelt gratitude. They want to see it in your eyes. They want to hear it in your voice. They want to feel it. They want to feel it. That's the kind of gratitude that true leaders that lead volunteer armies have. And you know what? It comes from a place of genuine authenticity. And why shouldn't it? These people are working for you and for a cause and a vision for free. That's something to celebrate. So recognize the 80-20 rule when it comes to leading volunteers. 20% are going to do 80% of the work. But you have to love on that other 80% as if they were doing 100% of the work. In fact, sometimes they need it even more. So remember the 80-20 rule. It really will help you in leading the organization. You always want to get people to be able to move to the next step and do a little bit more than what they're already doing. But identify your 20%. Identify your core. And then make sure you take care of them. Appreciate them. Those are the people to put in places of leadership, in position within your organization. There are 3 ways that I can help you. Number 1 is through a visual coaching call. It's where we get on a Google Hangout or a Skype or a Facebook, and it's 1 hour. It's $195 for us for the visual coaching call. The second way I can help you is with our Deluxe Package. It's $995. It comes with a 90-day race program guide and 15 exclusive private videos, 1 for each week of the 90-day race and 3 post-race. So for your organization, if you're looking to roll out an initiative, go through a fundraising campaign or a capital raise or things of that nature, the 90-day race, the Deluxe program may be the program for you because it also comes with a 1-hour free coaching call with me. And then the third way I can help your organization is with the all-in package. And that's where you and I partner for 90 days, call, text, email, whatever is needed, and I work with you and your organization for 90 days to accomplish the objective. That's $99.95, and that's the all-in package. Join me next week. I'm going to be talking about a subject titled Why You Suck and Think You're Awesome. Why you suck and think you're awesome. There are 4 things that people need to understand. And I've dealt with stupid too much recently. And so I'm going to give you the 4 reasons why people aren't where they want to be or where they think they should be. And so it's just a fun, catchy title, but you don't want to miss next week's session. I'm Dr. Rollan Roberts, and remember, success likes speed. Have a great week.